intro. As we all know and accept to be true in modern society, horses are the only animal capable of pure evil. When searching up images of genocidal conquerors like Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan, and Attila the Hun, you'll see different outfits, weapons, accessories, and styles. The only thing consistently alongside them? A horse. You see, while man has a mind capable of good thoughts, evil thoughts, and the physical ability to act on both, horses are objectively evil, but because they lack the arms, wrists, hands, and opposable thumbs essential to being the next Hitler or Stalin, they simply align with people like them and do what they can with what they have. If there is any truth to the concept of karma and reincarnation cycle of good and evil, the souls of the truly wicked are imprisoned within horses in an ironic form of punishment where every positive is met with a greater negative. While horses are mostly unaware of their past lives or sentience, there can be exceptions when special circumstances take place. For example, horses possess tremendous power, yet are cuffed by wire fences. Horses have massive dicks, but have to get jacked off by elderly horse breeders. If a horse acts on its violent thoughts, it will immediately be turned dog food or glue. Horses must dance around and do tricks for carrots. Horses have to hang out with weird-ass horse girls. As you can see, they are nerfed from being able to affect the world in any meaningful way. For example, if horses all vanished, the people who really like horses and wear riding helmets would just revert back to their special needs helmets and play with their train sets instead. Does it all make sense now? Congratulations, you are now a horse truther. Don't handle it? Then horse propaganda has you fooled and will pray for you, brother. The following is a true story that takes place between the years 2030 and 2090. We embark at the very start on a hazy regional racetrack. Dopey George is an older horse and a stereotype of wasted potential. Using up his younger years frolicking in the meadow and eating buttercups, he would rarely cooperate or work with any one trainer for long and would let just about anyone hop on his saddle for a ride. Living on a property just outside the city, Dopey George's farm was often intruded into by city-based mystic and esoteric groups who believe violating barnyard animals in esoteric rituals is a key component of becoming an ascended being, so slightly less retarded than astrology. But other than that, it was pretty normal. In the pre-race holding paddock, Dopey George's trainer comments that this may be his final race before he is mashed into glue. While he displayed potential in his youth, he had been outworked and outpaced by this new generation of horses, created using CRISPR gene editing and artificial insemination. They outscored him in every metric of performance and temperament. If it were up to Dopey George, he would murder them all, and those still within the tubes. In his eyes, industrial horse bust, and its consequences have been a disaster for the horse species. The new crew were physically primed, but docile and obedient. Lining up at the gates, Dopey George senses a buzz among the track staff. In a strange development, a large bet of $72,000 has been placed on Dopey George to win. With his calculated odds of winning the race being only 2.09%, bookies are offering 30-to-1 odds. Rumors quickly spread. The only time bets this high are ever made on horses with such low odds to win are when the race has been rigged beforehand. If Dopey George wins, the bet placed will win $2,160,000. Bang. The gates open. The race is on, but Dopey George falls short as the younger stallions breeze to the finish. The man who placed the bet is the laughingstock of the track. Who would bet $72,000 on Dopey George? Reese would. Reese was a local degenerate gambler, a serial mama's boy and by many accounts quite the tard. A younger punter by Dejan standards and a narcissist in his own right, his chase for the big win had seen him swindle friends, family and colleagues out of money by means of ass-kissing, fake fundraising, rip-offs and theft. While he had charisma and a way with words, his gift of the gab was always overshadowed by his dumb of the fuck. Because while he presented so confidently, it was because he was a living example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Put simply, Reese Boy was too retarded to realize how retarded he was. Having blown what funds he had at the track already, a sudden glitch in his betting app meant that despite his negative balance, he was taken to a bet placement screen pre-filled with the amount and race. $72,000. Taking it as a sign his luck was turning around, Reese hit place on the bet screen. Gotta be in it to win it, right? Jump cutting to him storming out of the track building in tears, Reese, having effectively just burned his life down, hopped into his vehicle and tore away from the car park at speed. With panic setting in and tears flooding his vision, he was never going to react in time. A courtesy bus, headed to the casino nearby, took a quick detour into Reese's fucking driver's side door like a hammer driving a nail. It wasn't his first time boarding that courtesy bus, but he usually entered via the door, not the windshield. While chickens leave a cloud of feathers when they're run over in cartoons, the pressure of Reese's car being crushed into the wall sent old betting slips in all directions. With Reese loving that casino, an offensive comedy guy might look at this scene and joke to fellow bystanders crash. Nah, just saw a regular and collected him. Too edgy for ya. Yeah, nice one, bro. But that grandma in the bingo hat already said I didn't. Reese's pieces came in meat flavor now. While picking up his center console change from the ground. Inside a horse float across the car park, Dopey George cracked his sinister horse smile as he observed the carnage. While he would soon be glue, horse self-soothed by dragging others down with them. Far from being an innocent bystander, Dopey George did that shit. You see, while Dopey George was a relative deadbeat of a horse on the racetrack, he was a hit with the occult groups and crystal girls who invaded his farm, being used often as a prop in their drug-fueled rituals. One summer night, as the dreadlocked weirdos dressed in cloaks and elf ears orgied in the mud around him, Dopey George nibbled at some paper that fell from one of their bags. While Chinese research chemicals safe for animal testing only, chewing hundreds of tabs of whatever it was saw Dopey George's brain activity reach quantum speeds. With the usual neural pathways of a horse being incapable of handling such a flood of sensory triggers, new pathways connection were made through sheer brute force. While it's said that with reincarnation and samsara that one cannot recall their past lives and can only work on their present karmic debt, this is a general rule that doesn't apply to horses that have eaten a cult's entire stash of designer drugs. Transcending through a seemingly eternal warp tunnel of experiences, timelines, angels, demons, and dimensions, Dopey George soared across his past on the karmic timeline and all of his wicked ways. The monolithic dose took him through an experience so long and intense that he was forced to relive and address his faults, misdeeds, evil, and past cruelty. Finally, after a torturous journey through it all, he was cleansed and at peace. This is where the story should have ended, but Dopey George took so much drugs that all of this personal growth was undone as his mind circled all the way back around to being an even more narcissistic asshole. Skynet is live. Dopey George is awake. Post-tripping absolute balls, not only has he become fully aware of his current four-hooved flesh prison, but has retained some minor, somewhat psychic abilities from the trip. Totally unencumbered by fear of death. Instead of using his powers to escape, Dopey George used his abilities to fuck with Reese's betting app, giving him enough rope to hang himself with. As Dopey George is being led to the glue machine, he rationalizes that while he treated his prime years like a 10-year playdate of snacking on buttercups and letting 40 people ride him, if it wasn't for CRISPR it all would have been fine. But it doesn't matter at all now, there will be other cycles for revenge. Entering into a karmic chain, Dopey George see the Hindu god Vishnu in a psychedelic portal made from billions of window frames into life experiences spanning millennia. "Whoa, why does it smell like curry in here?" says Dopey George, being racist to a literal god. "This is a sacred realm." "How the fuck you get in here?" said Vishnu. "You doing DMT?" "Fucking DMT vaping kids keep getting in here. Go listen to Joe Rogan and fuck off." "Oh wait, I know you said Vishnu, you're that fucking asshole."